So right now I have a ton of work in front of me. One of them is this thing. This is an HP Pavilion that I bought a couple years ago now. I helped get somebody else set up. This was Nessa and Nate's computer for a while. They were doing streaming and stuff like that. We did a refurb, got it back after doing... First thing I did was I did some upgrades. And then I sold it to them. And then I got it back. And now this is going to end up being somebody else's editing rig. But in the meantime, I took the processor out to use that in another build. Thinking I was going to put a different processor in, maybe like a 5600G instead of the 4600G that was in there. Only this BIOS is locked for 4000 series. So I had to get another 4600G to put in there, and that's what we're doing today to bring this thing back to life. We're also going to put a video card in here because this is going to end up being an editing rig instead of a streaming rig. So we got some challenges. First thing we got to do is we're going to have to put a CPU right behind that cooler because I learned my lesson with one of the other computers. Yeah, first things first. All right, so we've got the project started here. I am now going to put in this 4600G, stick it in there, put the cooler back on. Going to use some MX4. Stuff always works great. So we're going to put this together and we're going to check in right after I get that because then we want to make sure that the thing comes on. The modifications, some of them I did. Extra fan in here. There's a Noctua fan right below here that you can kind of see through the grate. Updated power supply. This is a 400 watt, I believe, power supply instead of the 180 watt that was in there. So we can put a video card, but we are looking at being able to get away with an Intel A380, which I don't believe has supplemental power. So, yeah, let's move on to the next part. And once again, shout out to the folks at Cool Gadget for sending over this X-Cool screwdriver. Precision screwdriver kit. We're going to be able to get in here pretty easily with that Torx bit and tighten everything down. So give me a second. I need both hands. So here's a very promising sign. And we're up. We got it. So now that we've got the PC working again, it's going to be some time to run some stress tests and see what's happening. And then, if all is successful and you're seeing this video, there's a very good chance that I edited the video on this PC. So we got to stress the PC out first, make sure the processor is good that I put in there. And let's see here, we got, oh yeah, it's updating stuff. So give me a second. We'll go over a couple things. We'll do a stress test. We'll put a GPU in here, run a couple of tests, and then we'll see if this thing is any good at editing a video. I'm going to say that's not too bad of a score to start with. We might do a little tinkering with that, but a score of over 9,300, that's a good start. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't appear that there's any option for resizable bars. So we're going to have to, we're going to see how that ends up working out. But for the time being, everything looks pretty good. We got a Ryzen 5 4600. We already established that. The regular graphics. We are going to go ahead and put that A380 in there and do a couple of tests. We're going to test a couple of games on 1080p because we're not interested that much in the graphics as much as we are the encoder. And that's what I'm hoping is going to work without the resizable bar. And we'll just have to try it out and see what happens. So here we go. Well, we ran into a slight issue. It seems that this card does not want to post in this PC. I've checked out the BIOS, I've tried to look online, and now it'll post without it, obviously, it comes up. But I've tried a number of different things, including seeing if there is a switch in the BIOS or there's a category in the BIOS where I could default to the video card. And yeah, I'm going to have to do some research. But for the time being, we're just going to go ahead and test this out. We're going to see what it does. I'm not going to have the benefit of the AV1 encoder to try to edit. I might have to do something else and use this card in it instead, but we'll go for there. Right now, we're just going to focus on this thing. Okay, and as kind of proof, we're in the middle of downloading the drivers, but that RTX 3050 does work. So it's just a matter of it not seeing the Intel. We do know that we've had other cards in here. The GTX 1660 has been in here. We've had an RX 6400 in here. A couple other cards that have taken up space in this box and worked just fine. But the main thing was we wanted to get this PC. We wanted to get the CPU back in, make sure the PC was up and running, and we've done that. So I'm going to do some testing with this, the 3050, but like I said, that's going to be a different video because we're going to compare the 3050 with a couple of different CPUs and see how it performs overall, things that you might run into on your build. That can I use this card and how well will it do? We'll compare it to a couple of different things, but yeah, that's a different video. In any case, this is running. We have to figure out what we're going to do because we're not going to use this as an editing rig. We're going to have to find out what else to do with the A380. We already know that the encoding on this works great in AV1, and so we're going to have to find out what box we're going to put this in to make it work. Anyway, let me go ahead and get in front of the camera, wrap this up, and we'll go from there. So is it a showstopper or the end of the world that this 4600 and A380 combo doesn't work? No, because I'm pretty sure that ARC A380 will work with a 4600 if it was in a different motherboard or a different platform, slightly different platform. That HP BIOS is pretty well locked down, and even though I went on HP's site and I went to their support section and I downloaded the latest BIOS, I believe it's like version F.4.3 or 4.43 or something, or 0.34, whichever it is. I did download the latest BIOS. Still not an option for either enabling the resizable bar or letting me choose the activity of the PCI slot that I could tell. So I could choose whether it was just using the integrated graphics from the CPU or the PCI slot. Doesn't seem to let me configure that. In any case, it does with other video cards. We've been able to prove, and like I mentioned before, that RTX 3050 will be in a different video that's going to be centered around that video card and not this HP build. So, but this HP is not a total loss. We do know that it's working again. We put a processor back in, a 4600G, and it works great. Does pretty well in the stress tests. And overall, it's playable. It's that 4600 and the 5600G both are pretty decent CPUs. They're pretty good, decent graphics. They are not groundbreaking, but they're pretty decent and they're solid. So in any case, this was a success. It did not quite go the way I wanted it to. I'm not able to turn this into an editing rig. This is not going to end up getting yet another life in somebody's home, serving a totally different purpose. But for the time being, yeah. We got it fixed. It's doing well, and I think it's going to be just fine. Now, what we will do with that A380 is we're going to probably put that with an Intel 11400 because that will be PCIe 4.0. And depending on the BIOS of the motherboard, we should be able to enable resizable bar. So we should be in really good shape there. We already know that AV1 encoder is really good, so we'll be able to use that. And I think this little video card will do great as an encoder and something to do editing with. We just have to make sure it's got enough memory and enough, say, hard drive space or SSD or whatever. Just make sure that we're in good shape there. And I think we can. I think this will be a slightly different build, and we'll get to that. We still have to do that build. But as far as this HP Pavilion is concerned, I am not ready to say this is the last time you'll see this on the channel. We've seen this thing come back a couple times. We do know yet another limitation in upgrading this, although we've been pretty successful over the years of doing things to make this go from what was supposed to be sort of an office and just kind of an email, regular use computer into a pseudo gaming computer, which it had no business being. But, hey, we're able to do it, right? Anyway, it lives on. We're going to have something else to do with it. We will figure out. But in the meantime, we have other things to work on. We've got other projects to work on. These PCs back behind me over here. You can see the packages. You can see the PCs. You can see a monitor over here that I'm testing. Video card over there. Just a lot of stuff going on. But we will get to it. So if you found out anything from the video, or you liked the video and it entertained you at all, or you found out something or anything, go ahead and hit a like if you don't mind. If you're not already subscribed, please do. Trying to hit 1,500, that'd be amazing, but I need your help to do it. So if you're not already subscribed, please do. Don't forget to follow all the socials. I've got my Discord. There's an invite for Discord down there in case you want to do that. It's a small channel. We're growing it. We'll get there. But if you're interested in that type of thing, yeah, fire away. Come on, everybody's welcome. And if you don't do anything else, if you don't follow the socials and you don't, like, follow, subscribe, whatever, then just do me one favor, and that's be good to each other. Be kind, smile, wave, hold the door open, say good morning, good afternoon, whatever might be appropriate. Just it only takes a moment of your time. Everybody's got a moment somewhere, don't they? Anyway, that is all I have for this time. So until I get myself into something I got no business getting into, I'll see you later.